This is what will make you uh, age faster. It'll hurt your health and it'll shorten your life 100%. For the past month, I've been devoting a lot of research and studying work of certain medical doctors and um, Gabor Mate in particular, and the work that he does around helping people deal with trauma and addiction. So sinasabi niya, and I'm sharing this because there's a saying that to teach is to learn twice. So everything that I'm listening to, everything that I'm sort of like downloading into my mind, uh, I love sharing it, but not just for knowledge. I'm not just sharing this just so that people would have more knowledge. All of this is available in books and in stuff that you can uh, in courses perhaps that you can take. But I want to share it because I think this will help a lot of people who are hurting, who are going through a lot of confusion and anxiety and fear and pain in life. And this is the main source of it. So if you're watching me here on Facebook, leave a comment so I can greet you. I hope the algorithm works. I usually don't get to see you live, but I just consider this as replays. If you're watching me on YouTube and on Leica, I'm so grateful for all your support. I hope this helps you. And if this is not for you, it might be for a family member or it might be for a friend. I know a lot of you are trying to help out your friends, or there's a family member of yours who's going through some, I don't know, some very difficult life challenge, and you've prayed for them, you've tried to bring them to counseling, and it's very difficult to, to reach them and to help them. So I hope this sort of like sheds a little bit of light into your situation if that's you. And if you're watching this and you're like, well, but life is happy, life is great for me, then I say, God bless you and may you increase and multiply, the joy and the blessings that you're receiving and experiencing. It may be just added, I don't know, knowledge for you. And in the event that it does come up as a need for you, sana magamit mo to. So here I go. Um, I was watching a video today. This is why by Bruce Lipton, and we've always talked about, in the content that I share. I always say gratitude is so important, healing is so important, forgiveness is so important. Hey Josh, what's up? Congrats, brother, on your achievement. Why gratitude is important, why laughter is important, why watching things that lift up your spirit and your soul is important. And we share this, diba? Like, ang dami nating sinishare na mga quotes and a lot of like things that maybe touch our hearts, the goodness of people. But we never really got to share like a scientific basis. Like, what does this have to do with, hi MJ, what does this have to do with life? Like, bakit nga ba, why don't we just become like miserable our whole lives? But hindi lang tayo, like, why don't we just stay angry, unforgiving, and upset, and enraged, and living in pain every day? Well, now I've got some science to share, and I'm not gonna pretend like I'm a scientist and I can explain this really really clearly, but I'm getting goosebumps kasi ito pala yun eh. No wonder we keep telling people like shift from pain and suffering to joy and inspiration, right? You don't have to always stay angry and in pain, especially for those of you watching this. May pinagdaanan kang, trauma, which we all have. We all have. I think 95% of us have gone through some form of trauma. And this can be very, very helpful if you're watching this. Hi, Jen. Thanks for being here. And, so I hope this helps you guys out. So I wrote down here, well, see Bruce Lipton, he's a cellular biologist. He has a book called Biology of Belief. He gets very, very technical with, like, there's terms that I wrote down here that I, again, won't pretend I can understand. But to simplify it, there's a part of our body, we're made up of chromosomes, diba? Like you get 20, tama ba yun? 23 from your mom, 23 from your dad. And at the end of each chromosome, there's this thing called telomeres. I'll simplify. Parang ano lang yung sintas ng sapatos mo, may nakabalot para hindi siya mag-unravel. Those are the telomeres. And the length of your life is dependent on yung dulo na yun, the telomeres. Because if it's either they are duplicating, nagdo-double sila, and therefore extending your life, or nasha-shorten sila, hindi sila nagdo-duplicate. Right? I won't try to over-explain. So, ginawa nila ng computation to the doctors, like with the length of time it takes for these telomeres to duplicate or replicate, mag-multiply, what's an average lifespan? And they came up with, inanalyze now, the telomeres will duplicate every so often with these things that are happening in your body around roughly 120 years. And therefore, they would say, okay, right, so I guess on average, a human being can live up to 120 years, provided all of these other things. So sabi mo, if it's 120 years, I wonder what the quality, and I know a lot of us won't even reach half of that. But that's not the important point. The important point is, like, what is it that we are doing or not doing that is adding to the quality of our life? Bakit ba yung ibang tao maganda yung quality ng buhay? Bakit yung iba hindi? Like, this is the thing, right? And this is really, you can feel my excitement because it's really linked up to all the research with other people that I've been watching, and also the content that I've been sharing. People will say, Coach, like, we want coaching because we don't have peace of mind. We want coaching because we're struggling in our relationships. We want coaching because I want to find my purpose in life, or this thing, or the other. And at the end of the day, you're going to realize, like, natural tayo, that we want to experience peace of mind, right? I'm not just talking about comfort. I'm talking about peace of mind. Kasi pag wala kang peace of mind, di ba, hindi ka makafocus on what you want, on the quality of life that you want to experience. You're having difficulty getting your goals, so on and so forth. But when you have calm and peace, you get clarity. And a lot of us, yun ang hinahanap natin. I just want to get clarity in life. Ano ba talagang purpose ko? And a lot of us, because of this thing that I wrote down on my notebook, we don't get it because of these things. These are also things or experiences that lead to premature aging. Kaya tayo tumatanda kaagad. So yung mga mahihilig dyan sa hijack, mahihilig dyan sa anti-aging, trying to look younger, we want to be younger, but not just younger, you want to be healthier, right? So here's some things, and I'll post the second part of this in another video. Here's some things that will lead to premature aging, connected to sa telomeres. So the goal is you want it to be able to duplicate or replicate ng madaming beses. If it's shortened, mas maiksi yung buhay mo, right? But hindi lang maiksi, but it's also the quality of life is very low. You're sick, you're depressed, you're angry. I'll stop speaking. I'll go through this. So things that lead to premature aging and premature death. Number one, poor nutrition. How many of you have ever thought about the quality of the food that you're putting into your bodies, right? And this is simple. A lot of people think, oh, like, I can't afford it. No, I mean, it's the closest to from the earth that you can put into your body. The healthier it is, like vegetables, right? You do your own research, and I'm not trying to say, like, become vegetarian or vegan. That's your choice. I'm just sharing information. So poor nutrition. I also added here, poor sleep. I've been doing a lot of research, also with the work of Matthew Walker, who is I think he's a neurosurgeon, neuroscientist, who focuses on sleep, but he's also a doctor, and he has this great book. I forget the title, like Why Sleep Matters or something like that. And sinasabi niya, the shorter your sleep, the shorter your life. So that's number one, poor nutrition. Hindi natin alam. And these people who live yung pinakamahabang lifespan, they call them people who live in these so-called blue zones. The blue zones, parts of Japan, parts of Europe, pinakamahabang buhay, like over 100 years. And I think the common thing that they found in people who were mahaba yung buhay is that they don't eat any processed foods, no canned foods, no fast food. And I'm not saying don't eat that. I'm just giving you information. So make common link, no, like, oh, this is what's happening, right? So if you want to age prematurely and be unhealthy and live a shorter life, don't take care of your health nutrition wise, and don't get enough sleep, right? So according to Matthew Walker, 7 to 8 hours is imperative. It's so important to be able to get that. I know people have said, hey, coach, 5 hours, okay lang. 4 hours, it's the quality of the sleep, so on and so forth. I'm just citing his research. And he talks about, like, you're getting 7 hours of sleep every night, or 8 hours. Magkaroon ka lang ng isang night na you get 5 hours, it literally stops your cancer fighting cells from performing at their optimum levels, and you increase the likelihood of you manifesting some disease by 70%. Example lang yan, right? Number two, what leads to premature aging and poor health and shorter life? Childhood abuse. Pinagsama niya ng tatlo, childhood abuse, domestic violence, and PTSD. So, and why did he categorize these three together? Childhood abuse, domestic violence, PTSD. Because pag dinaanan natin to, I include myself here, and when you're going through this, there's a thought that goes into your head that says that I don't want to be here, I don't want to be alive because I don't feel life is safe. I don't feel it's safe to connect with people. I don't feel it's safe to be in a relationship. I'd rather die. That shortens yung telomeres mo. So that does not multiply anymore. Literally, now they're finding the mind and body connection. Literally, what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you're choosing every day affects your body. They used to separate this. Now, ang daming studies in medicine that's combining both, right? So, hi Izil, thanks for being here. If you have gone through some form of childhood abuse, domestic violence, or PTSD, you will need support. You will need help. But you don't need diagnosing. Diagnosing is, pinagdaanan mo yan. Here, and again, I'm not a doctor, so do your own research, talk to your doctors, but I am sharing this information. Many times, we're just diagnosed and we're given a pill, but we're not. Ito'y tinatanong ni Gabor Mate. Like, how many of you who have visited your doctor? Like, same thing for me. It happened to me when I was going through my health challenge 13 years ago. How many of you daw tinanong kayo if you went through childhood abuse, childhood trauma, if you're struggling in your relationship, if you suffered a loss, may namatay sa family mo? No one asks that. But these are all important questions to ask because these all lead to being stressors sa katawan natin. Literally makes our bodies go into fight or flight and stress mode. And therefore, the blood pressure goes up. We're not able to fully, use the sugar in our bodies, or the insulin is not being properly produced, whatever that is. So this is important. I also wanted to add here, did you know that's a PTSD? Like thinking, oh, war veteran coach. If I went through something very traumatic, like I saw people dying around me, or I experienced it, and a lot of people are, and I am praying and really trying to send out good vibes to as many people as I can who have gone through this. But did you know that just watching something, ang example niya dito yung World Trade Center, if you just watch the bombing of that or the attacks on that over and over again, you can literally be diagnosed with PTSD. Ibig sabihin, how many of you watching this, literal, like you're scrolling through your Facebook, social media, you're watching, like, I don't know, murder and hurting people or hurting animals. That is freaking not good for you. You gotta stop watching that stuff, right? Literally, sabi mo, bakit ba ako depressed? Depressed ka because you're freaking watching all of these things that are not good for your spirit, they're not good for your soul, they're not good for you as a person, right? Stop watching that stuff, right? Instead, you can shift, which I'll talk about in the part 2 of this video. What are the opposites that you can do to practice, so to prolong your health, to make you feel healthy and happy throughout your life. Number 5, loss of love. Like, ibig sabihin, you're going through life and you feel like no one loves you, no one cares for you. Ang dami niyan. I mean, I go through that many times as well. And when you're going through this, you're like literally like, what's the point of living? Now, this is tied into a study. It's the longest study. I think it's ongoing until now, 80-year study in Harvard. Titignan nila ano ba yung nagkakos ng pinakamahabang buhay sa mga tao. It's the quality of the relationships that they have. It was not the money, it's not the stuff, it was not the vacations, it's not the size of your house. Nothing wrong with all of this stuff. But I'm saying it's the quality relationships you have. How many of you have that quality relationship? I'm not talking about people always saying, oh, okay lang yan, everything will be okay. But it's people speaking the truth to you about, alam mo, may ugali ka din na ganito, reklamo ka ng reklamo but wala kang ginagawa. Or, you're living a fake life, you're going through suffering, but you're projecting something on social media that is not real. Like, magpakatotoo ka, because that's not going to help you, right? How many of you would appreciate a friend like that? We all would need someone to speak to us like that. That's why we call this incongruency. Hindi na nagmamatch yung nararamdaman natin sa loob sa nakikita natin sa labas. And we're trying to change the outside, but we're not changing on the inside. Therefore, hindi nagbabago it's not changing. Okay, so, but also to note here, so important, loss of love, but also not having self-love. And they're all interconnected. But how can I have self-love when I grew up with abuse? How can I have self-love when I was not taken care of? How can I have self-love when I heard and experienced and saw these things that were very hurtful to me as a child? That's why you got to work with someone. You got to get support. You got to message someone. And ito pa ulit-ulit din na sinasabi ko. I mean, I just got off the call with my my colleague from Mongolia. We were talking about this. What will make you the most effective coach, the most effective, I guess, leader as well? They talk about this in the corporate world, compassionate leadership, billions of dollars of companies. I mean, because people were like, may pera ba dyan? May ganyan. I mean, it's really stupid sometimes what people are saying. But anyway, yeah, there is. All the data is there. But it was about also recognizing if I can be vulnerable, if I can understand that nagsastruggle din ako, and I will not be ashamed of my struggle, that is a major breakthrough for a lot of you. You're struggling in your relationship, kinahihiya mo yung sarili mo, kinahihiya mo yung, I don't know, yung struggle mo because you're struggling, kinahihiya ka sa sabihin ng ibang tao. I mean, that's like one of the stupidest things that people are so ashamed of. And when I say it's stupid, ibig sabihin, there is love and encouragement and support and care for you. Stop hiding it. Stop hiding that you're struggling. That's why you keep struggling more. That's why you can't move forward in life, right? Because nahiya ka sa sabihin ng ibang tao. I mean, we gotta really get this thing out here because there are a lot of people who judge. There are a lot of people who are really just stupid. That's a judgment. Who don't know how to help you, right? They'll just say all these nice things or they'll say stupid things. And the more na ayaw natin mag-open up. Have you guys experienced that? The more ayaw mo magsalita because you don't feel it's safe. But that's why I say, why do you keep going to that unsafe space? You've got to find a place where you do feel it's safe to share. You can trust people, but they're also challenging you to grow, right? And you stop judging and hurting yourself because we're all struggling. We're all going through insecurity, the fear, the jealousy, the uncertainty. Lahat yan pinagdadaanan natin lahat, myself included, right? And that's why I'm trying to get this message out. The more that you stay in your darkness, the more the darkness overpowers you. But if you just get a little bit of light there, you're going to see that the light is so bright. And all those things that we were so afraid of, it dissolves in light. Yun ang naisip ko, it dissolves in light. So self-love. Number 6, not having purpose in life. What is your purpose for being here today? Now, a lot of you, you don't have a purpose. A lot of you, you have a lot of distractions. Can you agree? You're just so distracted by activities, by duties and obligations. That's why a lot of you watching this, I'm including myself, that's why we're unhappy. Because we think gawin lang natin lahat ng obligasyon, we become human doings. You're doing so many things like throughout the day. You're accomplishing so many tasks, but you're never feeling fulfillment. Fulfillment comes from seeing your good side, the light and the dark, and being able to embrace both. A lot of us, we don't. A lot of us, we're just seeing the good. It always has to be, I always have to be happy. I always have to be grateful. I always have to be positive. No, you don't. No, you don't. You are a human being. And you will go through the times where there's pain, there's hurt, you're crying, you're sad, you're lonely, you're feeling insecure, you're getting jealous in your relationships. Gusto mong sumigaw, gusto mong magwala. But there's a process where it does not have to lead into you hurting other people. Because the model that we saw growing up was drama. Kailangan may sabunutan, kailangan may sampalan. No. No. There has to be communication. There has to be, I guess sa Tagalog, maging totoo. If there's something that is so bothersome for you, if there's something that is really troubling for you, to be able to stop, doubting yourself, nakakahiya, baka sabihin masyadong clingy, masyadong ganito. And you're not in a space where you're demanding either. That's why a lot of people have to go through, coaching, seminars. It's great. As long as what you're learning, you're able to apply and create the change in your life. You're not just adding more knowledge. It's actually wisdom that you're using and applying. But for a lot of you watching this, to get to the point where some of you, and I just feel this, it's with your parents. Like you keep doing everything your parents say, but you're miserable. I'm not saying to disobey them, but I'm saying is to get real about what you're feeling. A lot of you are so unhappy in your marriages. People will not call this out in your relationships, but you're faking it. You're trying to say that you're okay when you're not, but ikaw na lang mismo nakaramdam na miserable ka, guess what? Shortening your life as well. And this is so important because a lot of people are waking up. A lot of people are getting to a space where they're saying, ayoko na ng ganito. Like, I want to experience life better. Is there a better way? Yeah. There is a better way where, percentage-wise, yung pain and suffering, hindi mas mataas yung experience mo niyan, where you can have a little bit more joy and inspiration and love and gratitude. And it's sort of like this. But for a lot of people, this pain and suffering is up here. It's what's pushing down on a lot of people. It's why every day we're waking up with hurt and pain and regret, you know. But there is a different way to go through life. I hope this helped you guys out. And those of you who need support, those of you who need, if you like this, I'm inviting you April 16 and 17, 16, 17, and 18 to Unbounded Online. It's a program that will literally change your life. If you liked any part of this video, send me a message. I'll let you know how to sign up. You want to be there because it's going to change yung pananaw mo sa sarili mo, pananaw mo sa buhay. But it's also going to let you feel a lot of love. And it's not just sort of like love na because it's like woo-woo stuff. You're going to hear real people share real stories and you're going to connect with so many of them. And you're at the end of that, day one pa lang, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful I'm in this space. Because it would have just been another day na lumipas. But being here today, I know that something is changing and shifting inside of me. And I'm appreciating it because you bring it to your family, you bring it to your work, you bring it to wherever you go. I hope this video helped you guys out somehow. Feel free to tag, share it to someone who might need to hear it. Someone who feels like they're stuck. Someone who feels like they're victimized by the world because their life is shortening when it doesn't have to. God bless you guys and thank you.